Steve, welcome to the conversation.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. Man, this was just a huge week in the world of wrestling. We're coming off an historic two-night WrestleMania from SoFi Stadium, Los Angeles. The WWE just merged with Endeavor, the parent company of UFC. But most importantly of all, wrestling figure fans have the opportunity to reignite the Monday Night Wars between Raw and Nitro. But first, we need to successfully crowdfund that Mattel Creations Ultimate Edition WCW Monday Nitro stage.
Oh, yeah. So we've got that crowdfund going on right now. We're quickly approaching the deadline for that early backer bonus Hulk Hogan figure. I feel like once we get that thing unlocked, hopefully this Friday, 4/7, we're off to the races on unlocking all the additional tiers.
I almost feel like it is collectors, because of the way things unfolded last time, it's almost like a game of chicken where they're like daring Mattel to add something more. But you've been very clear, this is it. There's not going to be any additional tiers added.
Yeah, that's correct. We listened to the feedback last time, and people wanted more tiers. We kind of said that was it after the ring skirts last time. So here we were going all the way up to 11,000 units for tiers with that Ultimate Warrior figure. And we also saw feedback that, hey, why did you shut down the Macho Man offer? And we saw sales kind of come to a grinding halt shortly after the Randy Savage figure offer expired. So really here, we want everyone to get in on it, and that Hulk Hogan figure will be available to everyone who backs if we can unlock that figure by Friday.
Right. So if you are waiting, don't wait. There's no reason to wait. You're doing harm to everyone by waiting. Get in now. This show is probably going to air on Friday. If we're not there yet, make it happen. Get in there. We want all the figures. We want all the tiers.
Yeah, let's start building some momentum, right? I think as people see more and more people backing, and today was quite a good day. We saw a nice spike in numbers today, maybe due to the live stream, maybe because the Hulkster offer is set to expire. But once we start building that momentum, we're going to be off to the races. But I think one of the things that people may not realize is it's pretty safe to back. I know people are like, well, if I don't get Diamond Dallas Page, I don't want it, right? Or Scott Steiner, or whatever. But I mean, if everyone who's interested starts backing now, people will see those numbers. Everything will start raising. And if you don't want the item, if you don't get, DDP unlocked, nothing's stopping you from canceling ahead of the crowdfund timeframe ending.
I think that's really important to put out there, because I don't know if that was the case last time. I think there was this sense that if you put in your money and before, it charged you immediately for the last project. And I'm not sure if that's the case now. And now, because there are so many companies doing these crowdfunding opportunities, there are companies that will allow you to split that charge over multiple months. So you don't have to put down the full $400 right at that first time. There are opportunities to spread that out over several months.
Yeah, there's some split pay options. There's a few on there, and just check out the site to see what works for you. And I believe if you're just paying with your own credit card outright without payment plan, I think it's just a hold on your card. It's not an actual charge until the campaign ends, which is Friday, May 5th.
So there is a bit of gamification with crowdfunding. That's sort of like, that's just sort of how it works. Like we're giving you these things, but you have to reach this tier, and from the customer's point of view, you have to sort of view it like, what works for me. It's like, I really want this, but like you said, I really need Big Papa Pump. I only care about the freaks and the peaks. That's all I need. So get in there, help us. It's going to be a snowball effect. As soon as we get past 5,000, everyone's going to start jumping in. We're going to see those numbers jump up really quickly. We're going to get right to 11,000, get the Ultimate Warrior, complete the set. But we really got to do it now because we want that Hogan. There's no reason to wait and lose out on an entire figure.
Yeah, I mean, let's just say we max out at 11,000, right? We just hit 11. We get that Warrior. All the figures, including the Hulkster, are just going to be at 11,000 units, which is a fairly low run for an action figure, especially with a brand like WWE. So you're still getting a rare action figure. So any of the figures that you may not want, there's going to be people waiting in the wings to pick them up off of you afterwards. And we saw that with the New Gen Arena, right? It's like, some people didn't want the Diesel or the Doink or Macho Man. They wanted to piece it out. So, as long-term collectors, we know it's not difficult, especially with action figures, to part with them and make your money back.
And all of these figures are going to come in their own ultimate box, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I even asked a question on the Ringside forums to see if people wanted us to tape the boxes this time. Last time we didn't tape the boxes on Diesel and Doink to just make it easy to get them in and out of package for displayability, whether you want them on your shelf in front of the New Gen Arena or in box and taking accessories in and out. But if the people speak and vote for tape, we'll add the tape to the boxes.
Do we know where that poll stands right now?
I'll have to check again. It's been a wild week with WrestleMania, so I haven't been very active on the forums lately. I've checked in a few times to see what they're saying with reveals and whatnot. But I'll be back at it in a couple days here.
I'll see people post a screen cap of your sticky post from the Wrestling Figs forum every once in a while, and I'm reminded that forum still exists because it's been around since the Jax days. I mean, I was in high school on there when I was writing for Wrestling Guide, part of the Figures.com family. We created a competing message board. Like, there was a time where the Wrestling Figs message board wasn't like the be all end all. And then now obviously like social media has sort of taken away those message boards, but it's so funny that there's still a community there. And like, do you remember like how long ago was that? 10, 15 years, longer than that, 20 years? Like, were you on there back in the day?
I'm scrolling now to see when I joined. It's at least 15 years. I think I have a 15-year badge. Which means it's more than 15 years at this point. Oh my God, I haven't posted in a little bit. I got to get on there. Yeah, I mean, I'm from the Jax days, of course. So long time lurker on the forums, and dove back into interacting with people. Once I started at Mattel, and that thread that Q&A thread is incredible. I think it's the second most viewed thread behind the Fix-Ups thread, which is
I was gonna say that's the one. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's important, having things like that. It's like that's the go-to place, aside from our own social media accounts and whatnot. But it seems like that's been the anchor for wrestling collectors for so long. So I love being a part of it.
I love that you guys did all figure tiers this time, because that's what I want. That's what I love. I want these unique figures, and I want a lot of them at once. With the New Gen Arena, you did Doink, and you said that Doink probably didn't have a chance to be put out as a mainline figure. With the Nitro Arena, you chose all top tier guys. Can you talk about the decision to go that direction?
I don't quite remember why we didn't have one tertiary type of a talent or non retail friendly ultimate there. It just kind of happened, kind of worked out. We unlocked the Steiners with WWE, and so Scott went in. Dallas seemed like a natural. Cruiserweights were synonymous with Monday Nitro, so Ray going in seemed like a natural fit at the time. So I don't quite know how that panned out where we didn't get a tertiary character. I mean, Warrior is a little bit special in that the Jax figure was like a 1 of 5, right? So there is a chance I'd actually get that look here. Would I like to have included that? Yes. Were those talents of that level considered? Yes, absolutely. But there's a lot of people in the conversation, and there's a lot of things to consider, and I think it just wound up being all more A-level superstars.
Sure. So you announced the Nitro ring with Ultimate Eric Bischoff. Will that actually be out prior to the arena?
Yeah. Okay. So we'll have that ship most likely in time for Christmas via Ringside.
Great.
And then most likely early 2024 through Mattel Creations. So I mean, you'll be able to get a jump on it. Start with your ring and Eric Bischoff figure and have him ready to go by the time this crowdfund ships.
So we're going to have the ring. We're going to get this arena unlocked. There's one more piece I need for my Nitro experience. I need that announcer's booth. There's so many iconic moments when the outsiders are up there, when Bischoff goes through the table. I need the announcer's booth. Do you think that's a possibility for future crowdfunding?
I'll be transparent here. For a minute in early conversations, a certain well-known designer didn't want to do this unless they could include the announcer's table. So, I mean, it was in heavy consideration, but I mean, you see what the price point wound up being, and it's tough as is, right? So, you know, that had to, you know, go to the cutting room, unfortunately. So, you know, we don't like to waste ideas or development. Not that the table was developed, but we like to bring back things when we find moments and opportunities to do so. So, you know, we had that box set with the raw letters. We have Build-A-Figure packs that have had diorama type pieces in it before. So there may be a way to rescue that idea and bring it out in another way, especially with the Monday Night War line coming to Walmart next year, and a lot of surrounding products for it.
Oh, I'm so excited about this. I'm a huge Bret Hart fan. To see that he is in Series 1 of the Ultimates Monday Night War set. Can you tell us what he's going to look like? How will that Ultimate differ from the previous two Bret Hart Ultimates?
So he will have the black gear, or predominantly black gear, singlet and long tights. He will have swappable style arms, not soft goods jacket, but it is brand new sculpt. For that, it'll be different than the previous swappable arm Bret Hart jacket. He will have new head sculpts and new hair. So, you know, Bill is...
Is it in his face? Is it covering his face up?
I don't remember off the top of my head, to be honest. He may have one in face, one out of face.
Great.
But, you know, Bill is always constantly trying to perfect those Bret Hart heads. You know, I don't know. It's tough. Some likenesses are tougher to achieve than others.
Right.
And I think some people have ideas in their heads of what people look like,
yes.
and maybe they don't really look like that, right? Yeah, that too. So we're working on it. I saw early renders of it, and it's looking good so far. It does look different than any of the previous Bret face sculpts that we've done before, and we'll probably reveal at least renders, maybe even physical samples at Comic-Con in July.
Love it. I mean, I'm so excited for the Monday Night Wars era of Mattel, because this is when wrestling was at its hottest. I mean, I was in high school, so we were all wearing, you know, either DX or NWO shirts to school. We were all getting detention for telling our teachers, you know, doing the DX chop, all getting in trouble. One of the things that I actually loved from WCW at the time was how they were bringing in celebrities. They obviously had Rodman in the NWO, and that led to Karl Malone. You even had Jay Leno, which I just thought was an amazing thing as a big talk show fan at the time. Is there any possibility that we see either of those three in this line?
I would want to. It just depends. Can we get alignment with WWE for merch deals? And, you know, is there a larger play involved to where, you know, additional partners can get them on board and support those characters, right? Characters, talent, you know, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, so I mean, they're characters, absolutely.
Yeah, I would love to see more. You know, David Arquette. I mean, you know.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it would be incredible, and we're not shy on using celebrity talent in our line. Obviously, Logan Paul recently, and Gronk, and Mr. T and Zeus. So we want everyone practically that the, you know, the fans, the collectors want. And we have lists, and we share those lists, and we have discussions. But it's tough. You know, it's a roster, just like anything else. That Legends roster is just like the main roster. There's only so many spots, and you have to decide, like, hey, do I invest X amount of dollars in this celebrity talent that I can do one figure of, and then it becomes like a PR play, or do I sign 3 luchadors, right? You know, so there's a lot of give and take.
You guys had a great event this week, the live stream. You had Diamond Dallas Page on set. That was really cool. What's it like to mingle with these guys in real life?
I mean, they're great. Dallas, he knows what's up with collector product and everything, and, you know, they call him Positively Page for a reason. You know, he loves and is aware that product like this keeps these guys relevant and in the spotlight. And at this point in their careers, and for me to be able to give back to them, it's really special, right? It's like these guys now, they do the WrestleCons of the world. They are at the WrestleMania Superstar potentially doing signings. And what are people bringing up to them? All the Legends figures and Ruthless Aggression figures, and in the future Monday Night War figures that we're making. So it's really cool to be able to, make figures of these guys, and then get to talk to them and hear their appreciation of it. It's pretty rad. And, even Jake, I'm friendly with him as well, and having several figures being made. And it's like the appreciation is incredible. And it's just nice to be able to give back to them, after, they gave us our childhoods, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Such positive memories. So anytime I'm around them, it's always been a fantastic experience.
There was another live stream from Mattel when the He-Man team was crowdfunding the Eternia
they didn't
playset.
get DDP.
They didn't get DDP. Yeah, they didn't get him. Do you share ideas with the toy departments within Mattel?
Yeah, of course. I'm fortunate. I am kind of like a consultant for a collector at Mattel, so I do get to interact quite often with the other teams that have collector brands. And we have a lot of learnings from them as well, right? They did the live stream first, so we got to pick their brains, and the Mattel Creations team that was involved in that live stream, and that helped us do ours. So we did the first crowdfund with the new gen arena of the modern age at Mattel, and then they followed up with Eternia, and then they did the first live stream for a crowdfunded item, and we got to use their learnings to make ours better. So yeah, we all work pretty closely, especially when we have similar products.
Every time there's a new crowdfund, whether it's from Mattel, whether it's from Hasbro, whether it's from even a smaller Kickstarter company, you can learn from that. You can see what fans react to. So with the Eternia playset, they had an early bird goal, and it worked really well. People funded it very quickly. But then there was a steep drop-off. People didn't fund beyond that. But people got really excited about this Modi character. Do you think that there is the equivalent of a Modi character for the Nitro Arena, someone that we can start making memes of, get people excited about?
Well, I think pretty much everyone involved is very memeable. Diamond Dallas Page, Scott Steiner, come on, right?
Come on.
Warrior. So, Doink had unlocked the clown. Everyone got behind, and it was like in a day, right? Like that. I don't know if you followed the new gen, last day of the Macho Man early bird, but what a roller coaster ride of a day. And it's like as the minutes were going by, people were getting behind the next tier to unlock. So I can totally see something like that happening, especially with Dallas and Big Papa Pump.
I'm so excited for Scott Steiner, but I love that DDP. And we have a great elite with the short WWE. What was his character then? He was like a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
And he had the removable earpiece. That was great.
I consider that the DDP yoga.
Okay, sure.
Figure, right? Because that really beyond wrestling, like that's helped so many people, including Jake and Scott Hall and everything else. So that's kind of like my stand-in DDP yoga version.
There you go.
Dallas.
For your real life shelf, for what's happening, all your friends. Do you have a shelf of wrestlers that you've met? Like I know on the Wrestling Figure podcast, they have like their friends and family shelf.
I don't think I can. I mean,
too many.
Before I worked at Mattel, like I was always going to Access and signings and whatnot, and I've met so many. And then now that I work here, it's like there's just an interaction constantly with somebody, right? So there are some special ones, but for the most part, it's like I've tried to keep my display collection to Legends and Ultimate Edition, because those are my babies, more closely to my heart than some of the other. I mean, they all are, right? But
yeah,
you can't display everything.
We love all our kids equally. That's what I tell them.
But I do have all the collector items we make. I do try to keep everything, at least one of them.
So that Scott Steiner figure, brand new bicep mold, is that going to be an exclusive to Steiner, or could we see that pop up on maybe a Hogan? Maybe there's someone else with some freaks and peaks.
I don't know. I mean, if somebody matches, but they're so unique. You know what I mean? They were very unique to Scott. The Hulkster had huge arms, but they didn't have those peaks quite like
Don't
Scott
tell him
would.
that.
So yeah, I don't know if they would. If someone really warrants it, yes, we would totally use it. They don't have to be exclusive to Scott. But for right now, I think we'll keep them exclusive to Scott, and maybe even just the latter era of Scott when they got even more freakishly large.
Yeah. So can you talk about the outfit choices for these figures? Why did you go for these unique looks for this crowdfunding?
Yeah, so the Hulkster, I maybe can't say the full story on the Hulkster. There was supposed to be an accessory or accessories that would have really pushed him over the top, that would have gotten people, I think, way
Pasta
more
Mania?
excited. I don't know, maybe not.
Okay, wow.
We
Okay.
couldn't do it at the end of the day.
Okay.
So we leaned into, Nitro debut, which makes sense. It's the Monday Nitro entrance stage, and trying to fulfill some requests with the item instead. That being the big gold title without the WWE logo, long requested, as well as non-rippable shirts in the front for the Hulkster.
Yes.
I mean, some people do like to pose him ripping the shirt off, but if you need some photos of him or want to pose him on your shelf without that Velcro down the front, now you have that option finally. So that's kind of the Hulkster story there. Ray, I think we were just looking for a viable, meaningful look for him. I think there were two significant appearances in that pink for Ray, if memory serves me correctly. So we kind of leaned into that one. Dallas in wrestling gear, getting something on him. I know Jeans was very much requested. But I think to make an ultimate figure, trying to get something with a little more deco and something more vibrant to be ultimate worthy. And that doesn't mean that the Jeans is ruled out. I mean, we have a whole line now dedicated to this era. So there's a really, really good chance you see Jeans DDP as an elite in that Monday Night War line. Big Papa Pump, really just like trying to find a good look to, from his transition from tag to singles. And this is pretty synonymous. And I think there was an old Toy Biz figure with this gear as well.
With the arms that were like super loose all the time.
Yep. Floppy arm Scott. And then Warrior, toy collector significance in abundance there with that old Jakks 1 of 5 Warrior figure. Which, it's just like a figure of lore and legend now. But now anyone who wants it, theoretically, if we get to 11K, can have that version of Warrior.
I'm really looking forward to getting this set, but I'm also really looking forward to other people who are really good at figure photography getting this set, because I want to see the WCW WWE version of What If, the multiverse. I want to see what it would look like if Stone Cold Steve Austin showed up on Nitro. And this is basically a replica. Like if you were doing a stop motion movie, this is the prop you would use. It's so intricate. It's like, it obviously goes beyond a toy. Like I think it goes beyond collectible. Like this is a piece of art.
Oh yeah. I mean, once the action figure photographers on social media get a hold of this thing, you've already seen people with custom made versions, right?
Yeah.
So to have a real deal in plastics, pretty much scale version of one, those photos are going to be next level. And we're building something here. We're building to something here. There's a Raw War ring already. There's going to be a Nitro ring. There's already Raw letters. We have a prototype of a Raw stage. So, I mean, you literally can build out like a fantasy arena, with all this stuff, with 2 rings, kind of like a World War III style, right? With the Legion ring.
There you go.
So, I mean, it's really like the possibilities are endless, once all this stuff comes to fruition, through this and through whatever we're able to accomplish in the next couple of years.
We got to see a sneak peek at the potential of the Raw arena that you referenced there. Huge. I mean, words cannot describe how tall this thing is. Are we gonna have to get bigger houses? Like what's coming next? What's coming down the pike? I gotta prepare now.
I think fortunately from a height perspective, that Raw Titantron entrance stage is probably as tall as it gets, right? I think once we get into the realm, if we can get there, if there's interest of SmackDown Fist, or other entrance stages, they're not quite as high as this one seems to be. But I mean, we're open if there is a consumer there in significant numbers that want things like this, we're going to keep trying to do it. But I mean, the important thing is that we get this one unlocked, so
Sure.
we have a clear path to do those. Not to say that if this fails, things like that are completely off the table, but I don't think you'll be seeing me a year from now pushing the Raw stage with this having failed, right? We're going to have to rethink a lot of things.
We're definitely in a unique time in terms of like the money people have to spend.
Yeah,
I think we're in a different place than we were a year ago. But I still think it's going to happen. And then I think once everyone has a little more money in their pocket, they're going to be even more excited for the next one. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Mattel foldable chairs. I especially like the ones that came with the pay-per-view sets and it had the sticker on there. It looked like the chair at the arena. How about a replica SoFi Stadium with 80,000 individual folding chairs? What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, what do you think we would charge for something like that?
Well, let's say I don't know. Could you theoretically, is there a calculator app you could create where people can like submit ideas and it'll give them a realistic cost of like what this would cost to make?
I mean, maybe that'll help me with some of these wild requests, right?
There you go.
Look, well, I know you're being fun and silly with that, but I mean, I was like thinking about that entrance stage specifically from SoFi and WrestleMania and how cool that would look in toy form. I mean, whatever. Maybe one day, maybe if it remains iconic and it's in video games, we'll get a chance to do something like that. But I mean, those pay-per-view chairs are a lot of fun. I would love to get them back out again somehow. It's just, there's limited opportunities, unfortunately, right?
Sure.
Like we've got Build-A-Figure parts with our WrestleMania pay-per-view figures now, and it's like you got to choose one or the other, right? So, but it's always something you can revisit. Those chairs are eternal, so maybe they'll make a comeback someday. Right.
So we're talking about going big with all these sets. It's also trendy in toys to go small. Mini brands, we're seeing mini pops coming out soon. A lot of action figures are coming with their own action figures. We saw it with Sergeant Slaughter. We've seen it with the Super 7 figures. Is there anything from Mattel that maybe we don't have a lot of space to collect? Maybe we can get some mini versions of some classic Mattel figures?
Possibly. I think maybe 2-3 years ago we had a line called Beast Mode, and they were kind of like mini versions of WWE Superstars with like a beast shell on them, and it was an unboxing experience. That kind of faded away, and we started Bend and Bash, which were slightly smaller scale but still big and chunky. That's done now, and that will be replaced. So maybe the replacement will fit your request.
Okay.
But those smaller scales, especially when you're talking about kids product, they're always in discussion, right? You're always going to rotate through those every year to 3 years, and at some point you're going to hit a small scale once again. So they're always in serious contention for something new.
Great. Steve, before I let you go, I need to talk about my favorite line currently from WWE, the Superstars line. Now, cards on the table, I didn't grow up a He-Man fan. I didn't care about the Remco figures, but these figures just speak to me. They look so amazing with their custom artwork. They just look so great with their oversized clothes. They're a little goofy, but that's part of the fun. And the head sculpts, I don't know who you have working on these, but they nailed it. It's the right mixture of comic, but accurate at the same time. I love these. Are we going to see these? Are these going to remain exclusive to Walmart forever? Are we going to see more of these play sets? Can we see some rings for these guys?
They are still a Walmart exclusive. They're continuing. They're doing really well. They're beloved right now. They're in a really good place. Bill Beneke actually is our design manager, and he works on this line. And you can tell, and I tell him all the time, the feedback is that the fans can tell love was put into this line. And it's an era that we all grew up with wrestling, right? All of us fans who collect now. And he grew up in that era of the early 80s, and it's just the perfect line for him to work on. He was a He-Man fan on top of it. And it's it's just a continuation of the fun that we had with Masters of the WWE Universe. Unfortunately, that line had to be sunset, maybe a little too prematurely for my tastes. But we jumped right into this to keep the form factor alive, and this is even more popular than that line was somehow. So Bill spends a lot of time finessing those head sculpts with our sculptors in-house at Mattel here, just to really nail that balance between realism and the stylization of superstars. And then the soft goods and everything else that goes into it. And those discussions are really fun of what to include, what looks to do, what we showed at the Superstore this past weekend. You get a little glimpse of that fun, like Mr. Perfect. You saw his singlet, but underneath that singlet, he's got the WWE debut tights, short tights under there with the white trim on there. So that's a lot of fun, right? Because
wow,
I remember
that's great.
that vividly. And then Bam Bam, he's got that soft good shirt from his original WWE run, but underneath it, it's his Japan gear. Which I think he wore in WCW a handful of times, maybe like Capital Combat or something. So there's like a lot of fun little things that we're adding there. And even Typhoon, people were like, how come Typhoon is just black trunks underneath the singlet? But that's like our homage to Big Steel Man. I know it's a deep cut, but like that's just like the fun that we're having with the line is we're putting in all these Easter eggs for the diehard fans.
I love it. I mean, like you said, you can definitely tell that this line is a love letter to the fans of WWE and then these figures. The generation has stayed pretty classic. We got the NWO, we got a Bray Wyatt. As far as modern, can you tell us, are we going to stick with the classic era, or are we going to see some modern guys? I
feel like it's going to be predominantly legendary talent. Bray was in there a little bit as a test, a little bit because, Bill really liked that look. It didn't perform great, and maybe that's because Bray wasn't with the company when that figure launched. We're looking for ways to get some modern talent out. Cody, screams out to me that he would be great here, and there's some complementary talent that is legendary that could work in there as well. But don't know yet. For right now, you're going to see lots of legends, and if we see a way to make contemporary talent that makes sense in the line work, we'll totally try to do it.
Love it. Steve, it was great talking to you. Where can people go to back the Mattel Arena, Nitro Arena?
All right, head over to MattelCreations.com, preferably ahead of this Friday the 7th, to back.
Is it at midnight? Is the midnight the cutoff?
Midnight, and I forgive me, I don't know if that's Pacific or Eastern, but why wait?
We'll be safe. We'll be safe. Get it by 9 p.m. Just make sure. Yeah.
But yeah, MattelCreations.com to back the Ultimate Edition Monday Nitro Arena. Let's unlock all those tiers. Let's get to 11K and get that Warrior too.
Let's do it. And then people can find you on the Wrestling Figs message board.
Have
your own post on there.
Action Figure Attack on those forums. I believe I'm Action Figure Attack on the Mattel Creations forum, so I'm about to get a little more active there. That's an up and coming Mattel owned thing. And then my own accounts, of course, Action Figure Attack on Instagram and Action Fig Attack on Twitter.
There you go.
There's a TikTok in there too, but I don't really remember what that is.
Oh, TikTok. We love TikTok. We did 40,000 views on our video about the Nitro Arena. People are loving it.
I saw that. That's incredible. I'm doing something wrong on TikTok.
It's tricky, man. I'll tell you what. It is a learning process. Sometimes the algorithm is your friend. Sometimes it's not.
Yep.
Steve, thank you so much for joining the Reluctant Adult conversation. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me.